Janet Kipling.
We're going to meet two Miss Devons in a moment and ask if beauty contests or pageants are still relevant today in the hashtag #MeToo and Instagram era, where body image pressure is apparently acute and leading to mental health issues for many young women and men. Judging people by the way they look, do we still do it? Have these competitions had their day? Piers Morgan, writing in the Daily Mail today, calling Cosmo cover model Tess Halliday morbidly obese. She's on the cover. What is beauty? What do you find beautiful in your partner or child or another family member or even a pet? What is beauty? We'll ask that during the next hour. And we'll keep going with litter. These 17 people who dropped litter in Plymouth have been fined nearly £700 each. We heard from Jean in Newton Abbot, who goes out picking it up every day, doing the council's work, basically. Is that something you do? And why do you do it?
Call BBC Radio Devon on 0808 100 1034.
Text 81333. Start your message with the word Devon.
Email janet@bbc.co.uk.
Is there anything wrong with pitting young women and men against each other to rate them partially, I'd say maybe overall, we'll find out if I'm right, on how they look? Well, historically, beauty contests in England started in the medieval period. Can you believe it? English May Day celebrations always involved the selection of a May Queen. That's where it started. Traditionally focused on judging and ranking the physical attributes of the contestants, although now it's argued that they also encompass personality, intelligence, talent, ambitions, things like that. Not just for women, of course, men as well. You may remember watching these on the telly when you were little. Miss World was big. Yes, are they still as relevant? They're multi-tiered competitions as well. If you get to the top, you've got to start with Miss Devon, go to Miss Southwest, Miss England, Miss Great Britain, Miss World, and there we go, Miss Universe. Well, there's also ones for children too. You may have seen those. Those focus on looking pretty and the gowns and all of that kind of thing. There's all kinds of ways to go about this, and I have a couple of Miss Devons in the studio this afternoon. They are Jessica Lidstone and Clara, you're both current Miss Devons. How does that work? Tell us first of all who is what, because you're slightly different competitions, aren't you?
So I'm Miss Devon in the Miss Great Britain organisation, which is essentially just a different organisation to Miss England, which is Jessica is in.
So I am the Miss Devon as part of the Miss England competition, and like Clara specified, the two competitions are vastly different.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
how? Right, how are they different, Jessica?
So for starters, the Miss England competition, it advertises and refers to itself as a competition rather than a pageant. It also incorporates all the different rounds that Miss GB has, but they are optional. So when you have the bikini round, it's actually optional, which is one of the big arguments against, pageants and these kind of competitions, is that, this whole picture of young girls walking around in their bikinis on the stage is nothing to do with that. It's kind of more private and it is optional, so you can enter it or you don't have to. All of the rounds are optional.
Did you do it?
Yes, I actually did, yes. You just kind of send your pictures in and then they narrow it down to a few people.
And you did the bikini round as well?
Yes.
And why did you choose to do that? You're obviously confident.
I don't think anyone can really be confident as such, but I feel like, I'd been going to the gym and I had a couple of bikinis that I liked, and I wanted to support a local friend who does photography, so I just thought, why not? I mean, no one else is going to see it unless they have to, so...
Brilliant. Let's hear from you, Clara. How did your competition work?
So it's a little bit more of a traditional beauty pageant, so it sort of stays with more of the traditional rounds. So you have a fashion wear round, an evening wear round, and a swimwear round, and they're all mandatory, including an interview with the judges. And I think while we have optional awards, which is charity and publicity, so you really get a sense of the girls' personalities through those optional awards, I think something like the swimwear round, which is mandatory, I think I'm sort of making a call to think that maybe we should move that to be optional, as maybe it's not hugely relevant in today's society to have a mandatory swimwear round. So while it does sort of stay with traditional beauty contests, I sort of do question whether we do need to be making a few changes to make them a little bit more relevant in society. I would say that's what we need in the Miss Great Britain
It's
organisation.
very, very interesting. Do you both feel, I mean, you're both size, what? 8?
Like 2 or 4.
2 or 4,
I'm
okay.
just petite.
Yeah, I'm tall.
Okay, you've got a lot, and you look fantastic.
Thank you very
in the
much.
traditional mode of beauty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But do you feel that you were judged primarily on your looks rather than anything else? And would, for example, someone that was a size 18, would they have been in either of your competitions?
Actually, yes, they would. This year, I can't speak for any other years because I haven't been in the pageant then, but we did really have representatives of all different body types. We had all different sizes there. So I think someone of a larger body type could have been in there. And I think we are judged on a variety of things. We did get that interview where I got to talk about my education, I got to talk about the business that I run, and you're really able to get your personality across. But I think, yes, there are a few rounds which are more traditional beauty pageants, and you are judged a little bit on your looks. But whether that is relevant in society today, I'm not sure. I think maybe we need to be moving beauty pageants to be maybe taking out the mandatory swimwear round where you're judged on your figure. And if bodies and how we look after our bodies are so important to the judges, maybe we can put in a round where the girls talk about their fitness regime, the things that they've come forward through with their body, you know, the scars on their body, how they've lost weight, and that'll give the judges a sense of how we look after our bodies, rather than let's get them up on stage and we judge them on their
Just
figures.
judge them primarily
I think
on
that they'll get a much better sense of how we look after our bodies if we're able to give, you know, a 30-second speech like, this is my fitness regime, and I think that would be more relevant.
Are you going to take it further, both of you, Jessica?
I've already taken it to like the final now, so I just hold my title for another year, but that is as far as it goes. I mean, you go to like the Miss England final, then you go to Miss World and stuff, but I didn't get through to the Miss World, so I'm just staying as my title for the next year.
Okay, what
Yeah,
about you,
same
Clara?
thing with me, exact same
Okay,
thing with
all
me.
right.
Yeah.
You're both how old?
22.
22
I'm
and
only 18.
18. Okay, so you're right in this Instagram generation, and I'm guessing you are on Instagram and
Yes.
Twitter.
I mean, my job is a social media influencer, so I mean, Instagram is basically
How many
one of
Instagram followers have you got?
165,000.
I'm just at like a steady 3,000.
Okay, so that is so of its time, isn't it? Is that a pressure? Is there a pressure, do you think, to look a certain way?
I feel like looking through, I mean, certainly the people I follow a whole variety of different people, like different ages, different cultures, different sizes. I don't think you can really put a label, like I don't think you can put like the label beauty on one particular stereotype. I feel like there is a whole spectrum of different people that you could associate to be desirable, to look like them or be like them. And I do feel that social media is a large influence on our generation, but
Massive.
personally, I kind of know when to put the phone down and think like, you know, I've got this going on, I've got that going on. I don't need to completely absorb myself in other people's lives.
And Clara, have you ever, with all of those followers, have you ever come across with trolling and people saying nasty things about you?
Oh, absolutely, every day. Because what they do is they sit, but it's just a keyboard warrior, isn't it? They can sit behind a computer or a phone and say something negative, but they don't actually know you. So they don't know what you do in your spare time. It's really, social media is 1% of how you spend your time. And of course, you're going to go out there and put the best photos and when you went on your travels rather than other things. And people love to make that assumption, snap judgment. I can go online and sort of anonymously say something quite rude to someone.
I mean, no one's going to put a bad day on their like social media, are they? They aren't ever going to put
Yes.
a bad experience or a bad situation that they've got themselves into. It's only the best.
And you both look absolutely amazing on your Instagram. So,
thank
do
you so
you
much.
worry, though, that for people who really don't look like you, with the very sort of classic idea of beauty, that could actually really affect them and make them feel bad? We're hearing now more and more that this body image pressure, it's affecting people's mental health if they feel like they can't live up to it. Does that cross your mind with what you're posting?
Not until now. Well, obviously, like, it's always kind of... I mean, I wouldn't pit myself above anyone else anyway, so even to think that someone else thought I was prettier than them, it just kind of blanks my mind. It's not something... I'm in my own little bubble. It's quite bad, but no, obviously, I think, like I said before, you can't really put a label on just beauty. It's so wide as a spectrum. I mean, I don't think you could really pit someone against someone else, but obviously with some people that's not the case. That's how, like, their mind works. But it saddens me that people, you know, they don't love themselves for who they are and love their own skin.
Absolutely. Just for looking different.
I try and be a little bit more self-aware because obviously I have such a large following. So while I do post my best pictures, I always try and be really realistic to my audience. I say, you know, sometimes I eat a lot of food at Christmas and I gain weight, and that's okay. And sometimes I have spots on my face, and that's okay too.
But you wouldn't post the picture with spots.
Actually, having said that, I think a year ago, someone photoshopped my face and airbrushed it too much to actually remove spots. And I posted the original on Instagram and I said, listen, Photoshop is a real thing that is contributing to making young girls and young people insecure.
Yeah,
so it's important as an influencer to almost call yourself out and say, you know what, I'm not that perfect image that you think I am, and it's okay, I'm just a normal girl and I go through different things every single day. So that's what I try and portray on social media, and I think it's important that you're self-aware and that you do that for the younger generation, because I know that if they just see this perfect image, and I've done it when I was younger, look at this perfect model who lives the best life, and you start thinking, what's wrong with me? So it's important to say, you know, that's not actually real life. That's not what it's really about.
And do you still have days where you think, just don't feel confident?
Absolutely.
Of course. I mean, when I first got my title as Miss Devon, my first thing that I said I was going to do was promote healthy body image and a healthy idea of body image. And I actually did do a really long post talking about how I myself have days where I really struggle with body image, and I'll have days where I extreme diet, and then the next day I'll just binge loads, and it was so unhealthy, and I just went back and forth with my weight up and down. But now I've just kind of, you know, I do have my days where I think, I shouldn't have eaten that, or I should have gone to the gym yesterday. And obviously it's hard not to pit yourself against other people, but I just try and remember that, you know, I am who I am, and I'm not gonna change. But I mean, the night after I was crowned, my mum came into my room and I was wearing my tiara in bed, slumped over eating Chinese.
I hope you were in a really horrible onesie and everything as well.
My hair was
no
up,
makeup on.
No makeup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because we all can't look that all the time. That's why I'm lucky. I work on radio. I think you don't have to make supreme efforts every day. How long do you think this will last for you? You're both so young now. Is there a sort of age limit where, you know, how do you see the future with these titles and how they're going to affect you in the future, where you're going to go with it?
Well, I think obviously we both only hold our title for a year, and I think in terms of pageants I'll do what I can with the platform that I have for this year, and then I think I'll move on from pageants. I think it's either one of those things where you try it once and you come away and you get your experience from it, or it becomes your hobby. And I think with me, it's not going to be my hobby. I think I have other things that I'd like to pursue. So I have it for a year, but I think it's given me a really great platform to talk about things and to sort of question our society and what we need to make our society more modern, or what we need to do to make pageants more modern. So it's given me a great platform, but I wouldn't be continuing with it for years and years, I would say.
Yeah, Clara's definitely summed it up for me there. I feel like obviously it's given me so many opportunities, and it's given me a platform to talk about what I believe in. When my title gets given over next year, I won't be entering again because they take auditions now, but I won't be entering again this year. I think I'm actually going to go on the other side of it and actually help to organise the event and go along for support with the girls. I think I'm going to ask to judge actually. So that
Fantastic.
Yeah, just to kind
good.
of see the sort of things that they're looking for and gain a deeper knowledge of actually what they are looking for, and also to give my input and to think, who do I see as being a role model for the younger generation?
Yeah, and how is it going to change over the years? It's interesting to think what it's going to look like in 10 or 20 years. Finally, for both of you, who do you find beautiful? Who are your beauty icons?
For me, Emma Watson, but mainly because I'm such a huge supporter of what she does. She's so empowering, so inspiring, intelligent, a businesswoman, and she runs an amazing campaign at the UN, He for She campaign, which is all about gender equality. And I just find her so beautiful because she has just such a beautiful nature, and she does so much for society. She's just such a great role model. So that's who I find the most beautiful, I'd say.
That's a good one. How about you, Jessica?
I mean, I find a lot of people like beautiful inside and out. I mean, like if you look back to people like Audrey Hepburn, who did so many humanitarian projects over the world, like so inspiring. And then people just to like, you know, my nan and my mum and my other nan, like, you know, strong, empowering women doing what they want to do and doing what they believe in.
Oh, it's really interesting talking to you both. Thank you.
No, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Not at all. Good luck with it, where you're going with it. So there's 2 Miss Devons, different pageants, but both Miss Devon, Jessica Lidstone and Clara George.